So I lay my head down and yeah, I take this 20-minute power nap, right? And then I wake up and I see him just watching me while I'm sleeping. Like he's just watching me. And I'm not going to hold you. I open my eyes and I see a very beautiful face. And I'm just like, oh. But then I remember, oh, you got me here. I don't want to be here. So I look at him. I'm like, why are you staring at me? He's like, no, he's like, you're just so beautiful. Like, he's like, you're really beautiful. And I'm like, there is no time for romance. This is what got us here in the first place. I was like, sir, stop. You're being creepy. So we really get to talking again, and I'm dozing off though. Like he's telling me about how it was for him growing up and how things are really, really tough for him. He didn't have his pops around, and his mom was really like trying her best to like take care of him and his siblings. But you know, he just wanted a better life for himself, and he didn't see himself getting that without doing the things that he did. So I was like, that's really unfortunate, like because you could have went a different direction. But I do know that some people aren't granted the same advantages. So I really try not to judge, but I did want him to understand you shouldn't go bank robbing. Like you shouldn't go around robbing banks. I'm like, let alone just people. So, you know, I end up like closing my eyes again, right? And then I'm probably out cold for 2 hours. I wake up to like a blanket and, you know, him like with his head against the wall, just looking at me and then looking away. And I'm just like, okay, this guy really watched me sleep, but whatever, right? So I look at him like, can I please use the bathroom? I'm not going to do nothing stupid. And he's like, trust me. I don't think you would do anything stupid here, but okay. He's like, you're good. He's like, go use the bathroom. I was like, okay, cool. So I get to tiptoeing, right? And the bathroom, like the toilet is, the bathroom is far out, like down the hallway, right? But there is a bedroom that's probably like it's like 2 doors down. So you got to pass this one bedroom to get to the bathroom. So I had to pass this bedroom, right? But I hear someone whispering, like talking in the bedroom. And let me also mention, his friend, like his, the guy that, you know, whose place that is in the living room watching television. So I know it's not him. And I notice it's a girl voice. So it's the side girl. So I hear her talking and it sounds like she's like rambling, but it feels suspect. So something in me said, girl, listen in, right? Don't know why I'm being nosy in other people's house, but my safety's on the line. So I'm listening in and she goes and she says, yeah, they here. And I'm like, and she's like, so like, what should I do? What you think I should do? Yeah. And I'm like, what you mean what you should do? So at this point, I'm like, something about this girl I don't trust. See, I already don't trust Bank Robber Babe, but I really don't trust this one, right? Plus, she already attacked me. So she's not having it. So I quickly go back to that room. I tiptoe myself back in that room. I open the door. He's sitting there. He looks up at me. He's like, what? I'm like, we need to go. He's like, what are you talking about? We need to go. I'm like, we need to leave. And he's like, why? I said, she's on the phone with someone right now, and she just told them we're here. And he's like, what are you talking about? I said, she's on the phone with someone right now. She told them we're here. I don't think you want to find out who that is. And he looks at me, he says, say less. He's like, sit down. And I was like, so at this point, we don't know who she called. I don't know who she called, but something about that call, like that, the way she was talking felt very eerie. Like it just felt so eerie. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, so he gets up and he walks out the room, but the door's a little cracked. So I quickly get up and tiptoe to look over to see what's gonna happen. And he goes and he like shouts over to his homeboy. He's like, yo. And his homeboy goes and he's like, what's up? And he's like, let me talk to you real quick. And nods, right? And his homeboy goes and says, all right.
Hey cousins, welcome back to my channel. Make sure you like and comment. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Make sure your notification bell is on so you're notified every single time I post. Shout out to all of the new cousins in the building. Let's get back into part 2 of this story. I'm not gonna lie. I think this story is her dream. I don't know. Comment down below. Let me know, how do you feel? I feel like this is a dream, and she's gonna tell us in part 12 that like, hey, I woke up, because this seems like a dream. But somebody in the comments under the video said that they did see the police chase that she was describing in part 1 online, but I'm trying to find that video, y'all. So if I do find that video, I'm going to put it up on my shorts. But baby, this has to be like a dream, or she's deep into Stockholm syndrome, because I just feel like this man is too dreamy. This, like, the way she's explaining everything is so dramatic, and like it's just too much for me. Like, I don't really have too much to say. I don't want to do too much talking for this one because I feel like this is a really good story for us to listen to, but it's I don't know why I feel like this is not real. I really think this is her dream. Somebody please let me know if this is real, or if you find the video, please send it to my email at unpackyourthoughts@gmail.com. Okay. If you have any video that you want me to do a reaction commentary on, please email me unpackyourthoughts@gmail.com. Let me know how you guys are feeling about this story. I'm still waiting on an update for the Facebook dating story. I have not forgotten that yet, but there's no other update yet from her. So we're still waiting on that. But I have another story to go into. So we about to get into that. And we have so much to talk about. Unpack your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this is real? What would you do if this is real and you were in this situation? Bye.
Something weird happened yesterday. Someone from the story, from this entire situation, has commented on one of my photos on Instagram, threatening to send a cease and desist because they just feel like I shouldn't be telling this story because it involves them. One, I haven't said any names yet. Secondly, I can say whatever I want and I can share whatever I want because I experienced this. This situation has been traumatizing to me, to say the least, and I personally don't feel like I should be held silent. I should be kept silent. I'm going to speak my truth. So I appreciate everyone that's been supporting and listening to the story. This is a real situation that has happened and it is traumatizing, to say the least. So you can go ahead, comment on my photos on Instagram, threatening to send a cease and desist. I'm still going to speak my truth. So here we go. Last we left off, he had, called his friend over. He's like, yo, we need to talk. And his friend was like, okay, cool. So I had my head popping on out because the door was like cracked open in a way where I can kind of see what's going on. But I didn't want to like pull the door even more because it makes a creak sound. So I didn't, they were like really like whispering. I mean, this guy could whisper better than me, obviously, because he heard me whispering through his bathroom door. But that's besides the point. Anyway, so he's whispering and I decided, I'm like, you know what, let me just go sit down because I don't want to, I just don't want to keep popping my head out and being in this man's business because he looked very scary when he got up when I told him, right? So granted, I am still very scared, right? Me and Bank Robber Bay, got this weird kind of situation happening. I do not trust this man. I don't trust anyone in this entire situation. But something about him kind of gives me the vibe that he doesn't want to necessarily hurt me. He just wants, like I said, in the last episode, he wants me out of his hair. But the other girl, she just gave me vibes like she really wants to hurt me, right? I don't know what that's all about. So whatever. So anyway, I hear a couple whispers, right? Some whispers happening. And all I hear is the Bank Robber Bay's friend go and say, word. And that's when I'm like, so he's like, I bet. So it's quiet. It's quiet for let's say 10 seconds, 10, 15 seconds, right? And then I start hearing footsteps and they pass the room that I'm in, right? So I see their bodies pass the door and I'm just and I promise you y'all, it was quiet. Like a pin could have dropped and you would have heard it, right? And all I hear is boom, the door kicks open. And she's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, who are you on the phone with? She's like, what are you talking about? I'm just laying here. He's like, who are you on the phone with? And she's just like, I wasn't talking to anybody. You tripping. You going crazy. Blah, 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 blah. And they're going back and forth. And he says, give me your phone. And she's like, no. So she's really standing 10 toes down on the no. You can't have my phone. He's like, yo, this is the last time I'm going to tell you, give me your phone. And she's like, I don't care what you do. You can't have my phone. Y'all, all I heard was I promise you guys, I could hear a gun cock. I don't care. That's the one thing. I'm from Brooklyn, so I can hear a gun cock from a mile away. And she goes and she says, you really gonna pull that out on me? He said, yo, you know better than to test me. You know better than to test me. And she's like, I can't give you my phone. He's like, why? She's like, I can't give you my phone. He's like, yo, I'm gonna put this thing somewhere you don't want me to. Give me your phone. Yo, this girl starts crying and she gives the phone, right? So she's crying hysterically, and she's just saying, I didn't mean to. And he's looking, and I don't hear nothing from him, right? She's just really crying. So in the back of my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, although me and this girl just got into a fight, I don't want nothing to happen to her. I don't want a death on my account. So I'm just like, what is happening? So keep in mind, I'm in the other room, right? So I can hear what's happening because they're loud enough, but I don't hear the guys talking. I'm just hearing her crying, saying, please don't. Yo, 2 seconds later, all I hear is footsteps running. And I'm thinking it's her, but she is a guy. That's bank robber babe, right? Bank robber babe kicks open the door. He's like, we need to leave right now, right now. I'm like, okay, what's happening? He's like, we need to go. Stop asking questions. We gotta go. So as I'm like literally like kicking my shoes back on, because I took my shoes off because I was on the bed. You know, I don't put my shoes on the bed. But I'm putting my shoes back on and I'm putting my jacket on, and all I hear is him saying, "You call Kilo? You call Kilo?" So I'm just like, who's Kilo? So yo, this is the first time I'm seeing real fear in bank robber babe's eyes. Like he looked like, yo, we need to leave, right? So while bank robber babe's friend is screaming in the background saying, "You call this man," I'm sitting here trying to figure out, yo, who is this guy and why are we afraid? I thought we afraid of the cops. Well, I thought he was afraid of the cops. And low-key, I was hoping she called the cops because I'm trying to go back home. Like, come on. So yes, so bank robber friend goes and says, "Yo, you need to dip. You know where to go. You know where to go. And I'm just like, we're going someplace else. And now we on another run. And I'm just like, bro, I need a shower at this point. I need to brush my teeth. And I'm feeling a little dusty. I don't want to look like the girl in here. But I'm also really like a little concerned because while we were leaving, I saw like you can see like the door was wide open to that other room, and you can see like he has his hands on her neck, and she's just like, "I'm sorry," and he's like, "Go." He's telling us like, "Go." He's like, "I'm gonna handle this," but he's like, "You know where to go." So I'm just like, so we're running now. He's like, we're running out the house, and we're just like jumping in the car, right? So I see bank robber babe before we actually jumped in the car. I saw him like grab like some bag, right? This like big black bag, and it looked like it was a little heavy. I was like, what the hell is that? But you know, I got no time to think. So he throws that bag in like the trunk in like this weird compartment. Like I'm telling you guys, this guy was like prepared, right? But whatever. So he throws it in the trunk in his weird compartment. I hop in the car. He's like, "Put your seatbelt on." And the garage door opens. And I'm just scared because I'm just like, what if there's people on the other side of the garage door? Because I still don't know who Kilo is yet, right? So there isn't anyone on the other side of the garage door. Like when the garage door opens, I'm like, okay, cool. So we zip speeding out of that. Like, I mean, that man did a quick little backup, blah, blah, blah. And now we're speeding. And he's like, looking side to side, making sure that no one is around. And I'm like nervous because I'm just like, what if we're going into the people that are coming? Apparently, like this Kilo person that this girl called. What if like Kilo is coming like towards us while we're going towards him to like, you know, find him or whatever? Because I'm still trying to figure out who is Kilo. So I don't see anyone. He's still looking like from his peripheral. I can see he's like looking side to side, and I'm just nervous because like, just like, you know, not too long ago, probably like a few hours ago, like he was calmer and I felt like, okay, like he was a lot more level-headed and I could speak with him. But now he looks like he doesn't care about nobody, nothing. Like it's just him against this world. And I'm just like, remember, I'm still here. I'm a victim, baby. I'm a hostage. Don't hurt me. I'm your friend. So as he's driving, he goes and he says, "Yo," I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "Remember when I said I'm not gonna let anything happen to you?" I'm like, "Yes." He's like, I'm not gonna let anything happen to you. He's like, "But things might get a little crazy." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "I need you not to ask too many questions." I was like, "Okay, but who's Kilo? Like, and why are things about to get crazy? Because now this is like, you're really playing with my life here now, and I need you to stop." He then proceeds to say, "Kilo is someone that does not need to be involved in what's happening right now and should not know that I am here." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Well," I'm like, "Just tell me straight up. Just spit it out, bro, because I don't got time for this." I was like, "I just want to go home. I owe Kilo some money," is what the man says to me. I say, "Bro, are you stealing from everybody? Like, really? Did you steal from me when I was asleep?" So he goes and says, "I can't get into it, but I owe him some money and he does not want me alive, period." And I'm like, so how many people are you on the run from? We're just saying, like, give or take what? 1, 2, 3, 10. Like, how many people are we talking, right? Then I say to him, "And why would you go on a dating app when you know that you owe people money, as if someone might not find you?" Like, I'm just so confused. So at this point, I'm convinced that Bank Robber Bay ain't that smart. Because, like, what? Like, what? So this man has the audacity to say to me, "Look, you just need to trust me." I'm like, trust you? You think I should trust you? So I'm just baffled. And then I realize, oh, he's crazy. No, he's actually crazy. And he's dangerous. And now I'm like, I'm in a car with someone that's crazy and dangerous. And those two don't go together. So I just look at this guy and say, "I don't trust you, but can you just drop me off somewhere? Just drop me off. You can figure out what to do with Kilo and the police and the FBI and whoever is after you. Shoot." So then he just looks at me. He's like, "Yo, just shut up. Just shut up. shut up before I tie you up. I'm like, okay, I just shut up. So I shut up and I'm like, okay, you know what? Crazy and dangerous. Got it. Cool. So we're driving and driving. And at this point, I'm just annoyed. I don't say nothing to him. And I'm also keeping in mind, though, that I don't have the bandana over my eyes anymore. So I'm just like, yes, I could pay attention to like street signs and stuff like that. But it's like, how do I say it? It's still not telling where we're at, but I'm keeping a mental note of certain street signs that I did see. And we're like, I mean, like in the boondocks, y'all. Like boondocks, right? So he drives to this house. First of all, thoroughly impressed because the house is huge and beautiful, like beautiful. And I'm like, where are we going? Because this is a far stretch from where we just came from. And I'm like, who is this? Like, so I look at him. I'm like, is this where we're going? He looks at me. He's like, you want to keep asking questions? I'm like, you're right. Noted. Not going to ask questions. So we pull into this long driveway, right, y'all? And beautiful, beautiful mansion. I mean, just gorgeous, gorgeous house. And as we pull in, I see this man, this older looking mature guy wearing black slack type pants, a belt, black belt, and he has like this black fitted shirt with like a gold necklace around his neck. And like, he's just giving black money power, right? So I'm just like, okay, but he's also giving danger. So this older, mature looking man, I mean, like, he's fine. He's giving like, he's fine, but he's also giving like head honcho dangerous kind of vibes, right? So we drive in and he has this guy, the head honcho guy has this younger guy that pulls up like next to him, stands right next to him, and he gives him like a nod to go, or he says something to him to like basically signal him to go get the car from us. So I come out the passenger side and Bank Robber Bay comes out the driver's side, and the little guy that looked like that worked for the head honcho comes, grabs the keys. So now me and Bank Robber Bay are standing next to each other, walking towards the entrance of this mansion, towards this guy, right? Head honcho guy. And Bank Robber Bay whispers to me, he's like, just be cool, like, we're good. So I'm just like, okay. So we walk on over, and this man who, like, how do I say this? It's like, the energy he's giving is devil in a black suit, okay? Clean, fly, black outfit. You know, he has his like shirt on, but the pantsuit, but he looks good, but he has this look like this. You can see it in his eyes that, oh, this man, I don't trust him. Something about him I don't trust, right? Let me also just punch in real quickly. This man whose mansion we're pulling up to is apparently someone that Bank Robber Bay trusts, like with his whole life, right? So we just left the madness and we're in front of this mansion, and this guy who seems to me, he's giving like Bank Robber Bay like OG uncle, like a family member, someone that looks over him, like someone that he respects. Right? Y'all, we go up the stairs and something about this entire situation feels off to me, right? So I'm getting the same little eerie feeling I got when I heard the girl on the phone saying they here, right? So we're up the stairs in front of the house entrance, and this man looks at Bank Robber Bay and he's just like, really? And Bank Robber Bay looks at him like, so he looks at me and he's like, this is her? And Bank Robber Bay like nods, right? Cool. He says, all right, well, just come inside. Follow me into the house. We follow him to the house. We pass the foyer and we go into the living room area. As we go in, I instantly spot about 6 or 7 men, right? All have guns. Keep in mind, I don't know any of these men, right? But all I remember was I saw those men and I looked to my left because Bank Robber Bay is standing right next to me. And as I'm looking to my left, he grabs my hand, squeezes it, and says one word: Kilo. And I think to myself, oh my God, I need to leave. This just got real. So y'all, we're surrounded, right? I mean, there's no way that I'm getting out the situation, let alone Bank Robber Bay, right? So he just looks at the man that he trusts. Let's call him Jay. He looks at Jay, and Jay looks at him like, go inside. So he goes inside with no pushback. I follow suit, right? I'm shaking. I mean, my heart is like boom, 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 boom. And all I keep thinking is, I should have never went on that date. I could have been home. I'm thinking about my mom. I'm thinking about my friends. I'm thinking about my family. Like, I just want to be home, right? I'm standing very close to Bank Robber Bay, right? Because I'm just like, I don't trust anyone. I don't know anyone here. And this man, some man comes up from behind me and snatches me away from him. And I'm like, no, wait, no. And Bank Robber Bay's like, yo, don't touch her. So literally, Kilo gets up. As soon as he says, don't touch her, Kilo stands up and goes, or else what? Or else what? And I'm like, oh, I don't know if Bank Robber Bay can keep me safe in this situation. No way. Y'all, tell me why Bank Robber Bay gonna go say, or else I'm gonna do the same thing I did to your shorty. And I go, oh! No. That's it. Pack me up. I'm not getting out of here. They gonna hurt him by hurting me. This man is reckless. He don't care. I knew it. Crazy and dangerous. Crazy and dangerous. That's when Jay intervenes and Jay says, yo, Kilo, I brought you here because I want to settle this for once and for all. And he looks over at Bankrupt Bay. He's like, you keep getting yourself into some drama and mess. And I'm tired of cleaning it up for you. I told you the last time, stay away from here. You're going to come back home. Stay away. Now you came back home to some mess. So now we're going to just handle this. He then goes and says, you brought some little B here. And I'm like, why I gotta be called names? What? But Bank Robber Bay goes and he's like, you really set me up? You would really set me up? Really? You brought all these men here and you would set me up? So Jay's looking at him like, watch your tone. I suggest you stop. And I'm just like, y'all, the tension was so thick in the room, you could cut it with a knife. This whole time, Kilo is looking real dangerous, right? Real dangerous. And he has a smirk on his face. Anyway, Jay steps out the middle. I'm by the corner watching all this happen. And there's this man that's just like, I'm like, he's in front of me, but it's the same guy that snatched me away. And I'm trying to figure out if he's with Kilo, if he's with Jay. But all I know is this man is not Bank Robber Bay. And I feel very uncomfortable and I'm nervous. And I feel like I'm going to cry at this moment, right? But I'm trying to keep it together. So Bank Robber Bay goes and says to Kilo, what's up? What's up? How you want to handle this? Kilo goes and says, where's my money? Plus interest. Where's my money? And why would you do that? So Bank Robber Bay gonna say, you know how this business go. You know what's up. Like, you know how this go. But what you want from me now? You want me to say sorry? Because I'm not sorry. And I'm just like, why is he so gangster? It's kind of sexy. But also crazy. Because I'm trying to get out of this situation. I want to go home. How many times am I going to say, I want to go home? So Kilo gonna say, I don't need your sorries. He's like, but I am going to take a shorty. I say, I'm like, whoa there, buddy. Whoa. So my heart drops and I'm just like, wait, what? I speak up and Bank Robber Bay says, shh. Bank Robber Bay says, yo, you're not touching her. You're not going to touch her. How much you want? Kilo going to go say $2 million plus interest. That's when I'm like, hold up. Bank Robber Bay packing like that? He got all that money? Okay. Might have to reconsider this whole situation with him after we get out of this. That's besides the point. So Bank Robber Bay says, nah. He's like, so I'm just like, give him the money because you're not giving him me. I promise you that. So Jay gonna come in the middle and say, Kilo, that's too much. That's too much. I can't authorize this. This is too much. So Kilo gonna say, yo, Jay, with all due respect, I know this is your man's right here, but he took more than enough from me. And I'm like, I don't know what exactly Bank Robber Bay did with him. I just know he says he owes him money, right? So Jay goes and says, Kilo, that's too much. I'm telling you, that's too much. So Kilo and Jay's dynamic is also interesting to me because as dangerous and scary as Kilo looks, it looks like Kilo has a lot of respect for Jay. So he looks at Jay, he's like, Jay, you know what he did. You know I'm not asking for too much. So Jay looks over at Bank Robber Bay and Bank Robber Bay looks like he don't care. Like he has like death in his eyes, like this very blank stare. Like, so Jay looks over at Bank Robber Bay and he's like, he doesn't really say anything to him. It's just like a signal. Then Bank Robber Bay gives him a look. So then Jay looks at Kilo. He says, Kilo, we're going to think about it. Kilo going to go say, that's fine. Think about it because I'm not going nowhere. We got all day. I got my men with me. We good. I'm good, Jay. So now I'm sitting here like, how long is this going to take? I really have to use the restroom at this point, right? Because I'm like, whew, I'm nervous. I'm getting cold. I have this jacket on. It's kind of thin. So I'm just like, oh my God, I want to get out of here. So I like do like a cough sound. I'm like, and everyone just looks over at me. And I'm like, can I please use the restroom? And I guess I didn't read the room because Bank Robber Bay gives me a look like, and I'm just like, I really got to go. So one of his men, like Kilo's men, go and says, I'll take a Jay. And I'm assuming this is Kilo's man because all these guys, they're like wearing black and they all look like, they just look like they came together. But anyway, so Jay goes and he's like, all right. And he calls over someone to walk with us, some woman, right? And I'm assuming she works for Jay, like his housekeeper or something like that. And she comes over and we all three go to the bathroom, right? So now this guy who's walking me to the bathroom looks very scary. Like he looks like if I did a quick run, he would just grab me from the back of my hair and I'm done. So I was like trying to think, I'm thinking of all these escapes, but I actually planned, like I had to use the restroom, but I also went, like I'm walking so I can look at all these exits just in case, right? So I'm like, planning, looking around real quick. We finally get to the restroom. I use the restroom. I look to see if I can open the window just in case, but it's like, it makes a sound. So I'm like, damn, let me not like make too much sound so they don't think that I'm trying to escape. Use the restroom, come back out. I ask the lady, can I have a bottle of water? Because at this point, I'm so thirsty. She gives me a bottle. So she gives me the bottle of water, right? So I also drink this water because I'm like, the more and more I drink, the more I can use the restroom. The more and more I use the restroom, the more and more I can find a way to get out of here just in case if things get real, right? So drinking the water and we're walking back. And now I start hearing like arguments. Like I start hearing people get loud. And it sounds like Kilo just saying, nah, because what we not going to do is this. Jay, what you not going to do is side with him. Because you know what he did was disrespectful. You know he went against the rules. You know. So I'm just like, and I don't really hear Bank Robber Bay. Because Bank Robber Bay has this like calm nonchalantness about him, right? It's very sexy, but it's very scary. So Jay's just like, you going to lower your tone in my crib. So we walking in and the guy that was with us pushes me back. So now I see, because like the guy that took me to the restroom, he pushed me back a little, right? And I take that as a don't come in here. But I see Jay in the middle again saying, yo, he's already, like and I hear him, he says, he already got some shit. He's already hot right now. He got too much heat on him right now. He's like, I'm trying to handle that. He's like, but what we gonna handle right now is how much I give, how much I say is the correct amount. And now Kilo's getting mad. Kilo looks like he's like very hot tempered. He easily gets tempered. So Kilo's like, Jay, I'm not gonna take this. I'm not gonna take this. I told you when I came here, I came so I can collect him. And that's when Bank Robber Bay say, what? Collect who? Who you gonna collect? Now, I'm also just like looking at all the men Kilo came with. And Bank Robber Bay don't came with me. They outnumber us. And baby, I ain't getting his fight. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not jumping into anybody's fight that I was not a part of this. I don't know these people. I barely know Bank Robber Bay, first of all. And he fine, but he ain't that fine for me to get all hurt for. I'm just saying, not right now, baby, not right now. But anyway, Kilo gets so hot, like, I mean, heated. So what I take away from the situation is, when I went to the restroom, they said that they were going to sit down and think about it, but I guess they came up with a number right then and there. And Kilo didn't like the sound of that. Jay looks like he is mediating the situation, but also it's like whatever he says, go. So I'm assuming they came up with the number and Kilo doesn't like it, but Kilo's getting pissed, like really feeling disrespected, right? So Kilo goes and says, no, Bank Robber Bay goes and says, collect who? Collect who? Who you collecting? That's when Kilo goes and say, you and your B. I'm like, I'm not his B. First of all, I'm not a B, and that's when Bank Robber Bay pulls something out and goes, try. So Jay gonna say to Bank Robber Bay, he calls him by his name, he's like, put it down. Put it down. And mind you, it's like he's saying it like Bank Robber Bay's behind him because Jay's in the middle and Kilo is in front of Jay, right? Yo, I swear, I never saw somebody listen to the back of somebody's head, because I was like, oh, okay. So mind you, I'm still peeking. Kilo goes, like Jay goes and says, both of y'all gonna calm down. Kilo, this is the number. You not happy with it? Kilo goes and says no. He's like, what do you want to do? That's what Jay says. Kilo goes and says, Jay, I'm gonna need you to revisit that number. So Jay goes and says, let me sit on it. Kilo goes and say, I'm gonna stay here and wait. So now things cool down for a little bit. And I noticed that, I'm still like being told to stand out. And this guy looks like he's guarding the situation. So I'm standing outside of like the living area because it's like this arch that opens up. So I'm standing like on the wall. And I see Bank Robber Bay comes out, right? Bank Robber Bay comes out and he looks at me. He's like, you okay? I was like, I'm okay. And he gets like, it's so weird because when he talks to me, he becomes soft. So like the most scariest, dangerous man just looked like he had death in his eye, looks over at me. He's like, are you okay? His voice changes. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. So now he walks over to this like kitchen area and Jay follows through and Kilo's sitting down and Jay goes and I overhear him say to Bank Robber Bay, he's like, yo, you don't even know this girl, bro. So I just take this as Jay don't care about me because Jay don't know me. But Jay, I'm gonna need you to get with the program because y'all ain't finna get me up. So Bank Robber Bay says, yo, Jay, I don't care if it was a puppy. I'm not giving it to him because he think he could just come in here and tell me that he can just take from me. And then Bank Robber Bay gonna say, Jay, why would you set me up? Why would you do that to me? Jay gonna say, this is not good for business. You weren't supposed to come back. I told you not to come back. You took from him and you shouldn't have. Now I need you to handle it. So I can hear this, right? And so let's say like the conversation goes on, it goes on a little, and then they go back into the living room area, right? So I hear Kilo go and say, y'all got the number? Bank Robber Bay doesn't say anything. Jay speaks for Bank Robber Bay, right? Y'all, tell me why Jay gonna go say what the number is, right? And Kilo gonna say, word? And Jay says, Kilo, that's the number. And Kilo says, that's your final offer. Jay says, yes. Mind you, I don't see what's going on. I'm just on the outside. Probably 2-4 seconds later, all I hear is a bow. Y'all, all I hear is a bow. And my heart stops for a second, right? And I'm just like, so I'm getting ready to try to run. And Kilo guy goes and snatches me, pulls me back, and he goes, and I'm like, so he's telling me to be quiet and stand down, like just stand there. So all I hear is Kilo go, Jay, you hit me? And Kilo's men pull out all their tools and they're like, so I'm just like, what the heck is happening, right? Jay goes and to Kilo. And I was given like, Jay actually just grazed Kilo, right? He grazed him. Didn't hit him like at a specific point, but wherever he hit him, like just grazed him. And it didn't really like, take him out. So I can only assume it's a bunch of Kilo's men with Kilo and Jay and Bank Robber Bay in a stand down, right? Because Jay keeps saying, tell him to put it down. And I'm just like, this was the stupidest idea I've ever seen or heard, because like it's two of them, right? Versus a bunch of like Kilo guys. So Kilo's like, like going crazy. But for some reason, I noticed Kilo's men don't let out, right? Like, so Jay goes and says, I advise you tell your men to stand down. And Kilo goes and says, are you crazy? You crazy? You gonna do this to me? And Jay says, in my house, yes, because you're not about to disrespect me. You know me. You know I run things. You know about. So I'm just like, what the heck is happening? So this whole time I'm thinking, yo, Jay must have a lot of manpower like within himself for him to feel like he can do that. And literally no one's doing anything, right? So Kilo is just going crazy. He's like, Jay, you know you crossed the line. Jay, you know it's over. So Jay goes and says, Kilo, like I said, I advise you don't do nothing stupid right now, right? Cool. So Jay go and say, tell your men to put it down, because you already know what this is going to turn into if you try me in my own house. So it's quiet, right? But I just hear Kilo going, So Kilo goes and says, stand down, stand down. So then Jay goes and says, now Kilo, do you want the offer or not? Kilo sounding like a big baby, right? Kilo, who's a scary man, becomes like small. Kilo goes and says, keep it, Jay. We good. We good. So I'm just like, he don't want the money and he just got hurt. So then Jay gonna say, that was just a graze, Kilo. But don't do nothing stupid, because you already know what this gonna turn into. So I'm like, that sounds like a man, like, So Kilo men, like, they gather him and Kilo's like, yo, I'm out. But Jay, this ain't over. This ain't over. And Jay says, Kilo, you know it's bad for business. You just disrespected me. Don't do it again. Right? Cool. So this is the oddest encounter I've seen, because I'm just like, right? So Kilo and his men start to leave and I'm just looking away, right? Now, remember, there was a man that snatched me and went and said, remember that man. Remember that man. Because this man plays a crazy part in this entire situation. Like, this situation gets crazier by the second. So now they're gone and I hear Jay going in on Bank Robber Bay. He's like, this is what you brought here. This is the drama you always bring. This is why I can't trust you with nothing. Nothing. You mess with my business. You mess with our lives. What is wrong with you? Why can't you figure it out? Why? So now Bank Robber Bay is just looking like a kid for 2 seconds. And I'm just like, no, I'm Bank Robber Bay. Like, you supposed to be like serious and whatnot. But this whole entire time too, I'm just like, why and how did I get myself into this entire situation? So I'm startled and scared, right? Jay guy left, so I'm just standing in the area that he left me in. And Bank Robber Bay looks at me, he's like, come on. And I'm just like, what did I do to you? So Bank Robber Bay goes into the kitchen, I follow, and he tells me to sit down. And Jay's looking at me like, you don't even know this girl, and you bringing her around here. You got yourself into some stupid mess because you want to act like a child. So Jay looks at me and he's like, we're gonna have to figure out what to do with you. And I'm like, do with me? I gotta go home. I don't know anything, sir. I didn't see nothing. I don't know nothing. I ain't hear nothing, okay? I just want to go home. So Bank Robber Bay goes and says, she has nothing to do with this. And that's when Jay goes and says, she has everything to do with this. The only reason why you here is because you was with her. Do you even know her last name? Let's start there. And I'm like, so now I'm just sitting here like, y'all don't gotta know that much about me. I just want to go home. I don't know much about you. I don't even think Bank Robber Bay name is Bank Robber Bay, all right? I mean, his original, like his actual name. So I'm just like, I don't know nothing. I was like, and I told him straight, I was like, yo, you don't gotta worry about me. I just want to be let off on the freeway and I figure out myself my way back home. So Bank Robber Bay goes and he's like, yo, Jay, we not doing nothing to her. Again, she got nothing to do with this. And that's when I'm like, yes, defend me, baby. Defend me. So now Jay goes and says, I can't trust you to do anything smart anymore. I can't trust you to be here anymore. After all this is done, you're done. You're done. He's like, now you messed up business between me and Kilo. But of course I'm going to have your back because I won't let no man disrespect me in my space. But you did this. You did all of this. So I'm looking at this like, and you know, Bank Robber Bay's quiet. He's not saying nothing. He's just taking it in. So now Jay's like, now I got to figure out how to situate situations for you. And I'm like, so Jay ends the conversation and Jay's like, he calls his assistant to come and send me to a room. He's like, bring her to blah, blah, blah. Brings me to one of the rooms. I'm like walking and I look at Bank Robber Bay like, don't leave me. So Bank Robber Bay looks at me like it's okay. And he continues his conversation with Jay, right? So I go upstairs and I'm in this room. And first of all, I must say the house is beautiful. Beautiful big house, plenty of rooms. And I'm sitting there and the assistant looks at me. He's like, hey, do you need anything? And I'm like, no, I'm okay. I'm right. I'm fine. So I'm chilling in that room for a little bit, just nervous, shaken up because I just saw this crazy drama implode, right? So boom, I'm in this room, right? So I'm in this room for like 20 minutes and I'm just sitting here nervous and the door flies open and it's Bank Robber Bay. He's like, you good? I'm like, yes. And he's like, okay, you gonna shower here, brush your teeth, and we're gonna leave. I'm like, but we just got here. He's like, we can't stay here. We're gonna leave. I'm like, okay, cool. He looked a little like irritated and aggravated, but I just listened. I'm like, okay, I guess we're gonna go. But then I say to him, I'm like, am I ever gonna go home? He's like, I need you to stop and trust me. And I'm like, okay. So this whole time I'm trying to figure out, I've been gone for a little too long now. I'm hoping that, you know, there's like a little alert out here for me to look for me because like, you know, I'm on the run with someone that I don't want to be on the run with. And this, like I said, is getting hostage situation. So Bank Robber Bay walks out and he comes back in probably like 10 minutes later. He throws me a towel, toothbrush, and a pair of sweatpants with a t-shirt and a hoodie. And I'm like, okay, cool. This is what I'm wearing, right? Fresh socks. I had on like these little shoes, like these. So I get ready. I go to the shower and I use up a good soap. I use up all day lotion. I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to take advantage of y'all because y'all freaking taking advantage of this situation and got me on the run and I don't want to be here. So yes, I definitely use their good soap, their good lotion. I got ready, put the hoodie on, put the sweats on and was like, you know, come out. Bank Robber Bay is in the room that I was in, right? So I come out the bathroom, dressed up, go inside the room and I'm looking at him. He's sitting down and he's like, we need to leave now. And I'm like, are you going to tell me where we're going? And he's like, you're going to depart from me. I'm going to figure this out. But we need to go right now. I'm like, do you know where we're going? He's like, I know where we're going to stay at, but it's too hot and I can't have you around this stuff. And I'm like, okay. So we come downstairs, see Jay. Jay looks at me with this like serious look, like shaking his head. Then he looks at Bank Robber Bay and he's like, all right. So we get into a different car, right? There's this new entire car. We walk downstairs and there's a new car outside. And it seems like it's probably one of Jay's cars. But anyway, we get into this new car and I'm looking around and I'm just like uncomfortable. Like I'm just nervous because this whole entire time, it's odd that I'm adapting to the situation. But I just remembered that Jay just did some real gangster stuff earlier. So I just want to get out of Jay's house. I don't want to be in Jay's house. Jay scares me. I feel like he is a very calculating man. But he has some serious like anger issues when it comes to disrespect. So we're driving now, right? We leave Jay's, get out, and we're probably driving for like an hour and let's say 30 minutes, right? And we end up in this garage. Like we end up driving into this mechanic garage that seems like there's nobody there. And I don't want to say it's abandoned because I see like a few cars there, but he whips out a key, opens it up, and we're in there and it's just us. And he's like, we're going to be good for now. I'm like, okay. So at this point, he also has like a burner phone. And it seems like wherever he got, like he had this bag with him. In that bag that I told you he picked up at the last house, he had like a burner phone. He had things inside that bag. I didn't really look into the bag, but I can see that that's where he kept most of the things that were on like the run with, right? So he has this burner phone, and he calls who I assume is Jay. He's like, I'm good, and Jay's like, bet. So he's on the phone with Jay for like, he's on the phone with Jay for like 5 minutes, and then he hangs up. So now I walk on over, and there's like this couch there, and I just sit there, and I'm like shaking my head. He looks at me, and I look at him, and I just look away, and I'm just shaking my head. He comes on over to me. He sits down. He's like, Chelsea, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so very sorry. And I'm like, at this point, I tell Banker Robbie, I'm like, you've apologized to me more than anyone has in a very long time. In a short span of time, you've just been saying sorry. And I'm like, I don't think you understand. There's no need for me to be here. You could have just let me go a long time ago. He was like, I'm sorry. And I'm just sitting there looking at him like, you're stupid. Then I'm thinking about my friend. I'm like, she's stupid. Everybody in this situation is stupid. So then he goes and he looks at me. He's like, all right, Chelsea. He's like, are you hungry? I was like, yes, I'm actually very hungry. He's like, I bet. So in the back of my head, I'm like, oh my God, he's going to go get some food and I can escape, right? Yeah, this man had in the trunk of that car that we drove, he had sandwiches, chips, snacks, water. And I'm like, damn, I guess he got it at Jay's before we pulled up to the spot. So he gives me a sandwich. I start eating it, and I'm just looking at him like pissed off, like I just want to go, right? So he's laughing at me, and I'm like, why are you laughing? He was like, you're so cute when you're mad. And I'm like, this is not the time for this. Like, I'm really pissed off. So he's like, can you just make light of the situation? I'm like, oh my God, this guy is really like mentally off. So I'm irritated, and I'm just eating my food, ignoring him. So he goes, and he's like, let's get to know each other a little better. I'm like, I don't think I want to get to know you anymore. He's like, so I go and say to him, I'm like, matter of fact, who's Jay to you? Who's Jay? And why do you trust him so much? So he goes and says to me, my dad used to beat me up very badly. And I'm like, okay. He was like, it was like bad. And, you know, I was a kid ripping and running the streets, and Jay took me under his wing. And one day he saw that my dad was like hitting me really, really bad. And he pulls up to my crib and beat my father up. Like, he was like, Jay, like, boom, 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 boom. And then Jay told him, pack your stuff, you moving in with me. I was like, how old were you when that happened? He was like, I was 13. And I was like, wow. So then, you know, we're chit-chatting, and I get really tired again. Obviously, I'm a very sleepy person, right? But a part of me really does feel like he's not going to do nothing to me because he's been very protective of me the entire situation. So he looks at me, he's like, you cold? I was like, yeah. So he grabs this blanket from like one of the lockers in the like the garage, and he's like, lay down on the couch, and you know, he's like, just get comfortable. He's like, I got you. I'm like, okay, cool. So I fall asleep, and I'm probably knocked out. Like, it feels like I was knocked out forever, right? But I'm sleeping, and then I hear like his phone ringing, and I'm like half, like I wake up to that, but I'm like half asleep, half awake. And y'all, this guy starts screaming on the phone like, what? What do you mean? And I'm like, I wake up, I'm like, what's going on? He's on the phone with his homeboy, the one from like that, I told you, like the first, like with the girl, with the side girl, like the safe house situation. He's on the phone with that guy, and he's going off like, no, right? So I'm just like, what just happened? He gets off the phone, and he says, they got Jay. I'm like, who got Jay? He's like, they got Jay. I'm like, oh my God! Bank robber gonna go say they got Jay. So I'm like, oh my God, who got Jay? So at this point, he's just screaming, and he's pissed off, and he's like, what? Y'all. He goes and says a bunch of cop cars surrounded Jay's crib. Mind you, I'm thinking, why would anyone surround Jay's crib? And this is like a lot, right? Because how do they know that we were there? So I'm trying to put two and two together, because I'm sitting there thinking, did Kilo snitch? You know, like, did something happen, right? So remember when I said that one of Kilo guys had snatched me up and went, shh, stand down? Y'all tell me why that man was undercover. He was an undercover Fed. And apparently they have been trying to crack a case on Jay and Kilo and just a whole nine, right? So Jay gave this man ammo because boom, because this guy has witnessed, which I'm sure he's witnessed a bunch of other stuff, I don't know, but he witnessed Jay pulling out a little on Kilo and hitting Kilo with a little right? So just for context, is the pow pow. But anyway, so now they got Jay, y'all. They got Jay surrounded with a bunch of cop cars at his beautiful mansion, I must say. And guess what? We escaped with luck. So this man is just dodging the police. He just dodging Kilo. He dodging everybody. So now Bank Robber Bay is losing his mind. I mean, he is screaming. He's like, nah, freaking out. And I'm watching him pace back and forth and trying to figure out what's going on. So I'm sitting there like, the police gonna get me? Because I want to go home. I want some real food, right? So then he looks at me and he just looks puzzled. And I'm like, and he's like, I gotta get rid of you. I was like, what? He's like, you gotta go home. I gotta go. I was like, you gonna leave me in the middle of all this chaos? But how are you sending me home? So this guy goes, he's like, put your things on. I'm like, okay, hey, I'm finally going home. He's like, hurry up, we gotta go. So, he snatches his bags, he's grabbing everything, jumps inside of this car, and we get out. So I'm just like, where we going now? And he's not talking to me. He's just like mad quiet, and he looks zoned out now. And I'm just like, so you're not gonna tell me nothing? Is this what we're doing? Now, this man is out here speeding. I mean, speeding Need for Speed. Fast and Furious ain't got nothing on him. And we just going and going. I'm just sitting here like, you about to get pulled over by the cops. So he's just like pissed off, and he's like, takes a quick little boop boop turn to some other area. And we end up in this motel, right? The guy that, like, it's like some like real like old motel that I'm sure a lot of crime has happened. And the guy up front just looks the other way. So now we in this motel, right? And he asked the guy for a room, and I'm just like, yo, how many places we gonna go? Because we done went to so many locations, and for some reason, how come nobody is like, how come I haven't been found yet? I'm on a run. So we get to the motel, and we go to this desk, the front desk, and there's this guy who looks like he's like in his mid-30s. He looks like he don't care about nothing, y'all. Like, he just finished smoking and was just like, okay, y'all need a room, and he asked for a card, and Bank Robber Bay was like, I only got cash. And at this point, I'm just like, oh, he prepared. He know not to leave a paper trail, right? So I'm just like, damn, this is like the next place we're in. And at this point, I feel like, am I getting home anytime soon, right? Because, like, why is anyone searching for me? And why am I still on the run? So we go in this room, and it's one big bed. And I'm like, I know we're not finna fall asleep on the bed together because, like, he ain't finna touch no booty. But anyway, right? I go, and I'm like, I really need a shower again. And at this point, I just need a shower, but I'm re-wearing, like, the same shirt and sweatpants, right? I know, a little nasty, but whatever. But anyway, I jump in the shower, I get ready, and he's quiet. Like, I mean, it's like he don't really care that I'm around right now. Like, it's like he's not paying attention to anything other than his thoughts. So now he's looking all serious, a little sexy if you ask me, because I love me a serious, sexy man. But, trying to focus here. I go in the shower, I come out, and I'm in this towel. And he looks at me, and I look at him, and I'm just like, so I know I look good fresh out the shower, right? Got a little cold right now, I'm a little sick, but I was looking good. And I know this because he's staring at me like, this man who was like lost in thought and all serious just looks at me like, and I'm looking at him like, and he's just looking at me like, then he goes and says, you're really beautiful. And I'm like, thank you. Now, don't get me wrong. I am very still upset. And something about the fear, it has officially like blown over me because it's like I'm becoming numb to like being scared of what's going on. But I'm irritated, I'm angry, but I'm still a little like hot and bothered. I don't know. He was looking really good, y'all. He was looking really good. So, he's staring at me, I'm in my towel, and I'm like, okay, this is not the time to flirt. He's like, nah, you just look really beautiful. Something about the way he said I look beautiful and his like very serious, very, very serious, scary almost demeanor. But like, it was giving like, you sexy. Like, he was giving it was hot, So I'm just like, okay, things are about to go left and I should probably run and put some clothes on. So I walk out. So y'all, there's an intensity in the room, but I'm trying to not be awkward because I understand what this intensity is. And as angry as I am, Big Brother Bay's fine as hell. And he was doing a lot of protecting and a lot of, and I'm just like, and something about when he was like really angry, but like then turned serious and focused, it was just like, oh, girl, don't be toxic. But like, so I'm standing between the bathroom door, right? And I just walk out, right? And as I'm walking past the bed to just, go and like grab my stuff, he puts his hand on my thigh. Like, he grabs my thigh, right? First of all, just gotta say, this man had a man hand. Like, it was that grip, man. So he goes and he grips my thigh, but not in like a forceful way, just in a, I don't know, it's just like a touch. And I would look over at him, and he looks at me with these eyes. And I'm just like, y'all. Yeah. Y'all. So, boom. He gets to touching my thigh. Oh my God! Wow. And I could feel every hair on my skin rising up. I mean, my skin feeling hot. And I'm just like, he stands up from the bed and he pulls me into him. And I'm looking at him like, is this supposed to happen? So he looks at me and I look at him and I'm like, and he just grabs me and kisses me. So at this point, our lips are touching. I am feeling like, oh my God, this man is just so fine. And we're just kissing and kissing. He's like grazing my back with his hand. And I'm just like, oh my God. So he starts like, man, handling me in like the most sensualist. I don't even think that's a word. But like, sorry, yeah, that man was fine. He's dangerous, but he's fine. Obviously, at this point, I'm like captivated in the moment. This guy is so fine. His arms is just like, wrapped around me. We're making out. He's like touching, like kissing on my shoulders. I still have this towel on. And, it's seeming like he's about to like unravel the towel. And that's when it hits me. Girl, he's a criminal and you're on the run. Stop. Say, we can't. I'm like, stop. He's like, huh? I'm like, stop. And I push him off me. He's like, okay, you got it. You're okay. I'm like, no, this is not okay. Like none of this is okay.
Cousins, Unpacking those in the comments. Would you do it? Like, would you, if he that fine, the way she's describing him, and all that has happened, and you just feel like, oh, yes, let's go. would you do it? Unpacking those in the comments.
So he's looking at me. He goes and he sits back down on the bed, and I just like fix my towel up, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go grab my clothes and change in the bathroom. And he's like, all right. He's like, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't make you feel uncomfortable. So now in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm pissed off because I'm torn between gosh, you really got me out here on the run, trying to go home. I still haven't been home. But on the other hand, I'm like, you're so thoughtful and respectful. And I mean, you a kind criminal. Gangster, but kind. Go ahead and I grab my clothes and I just go into the restroom and I start putting lotion on my legs and I'm changing and he knocks on the door and I'm just like, yes. And he's like, are you good in there? And I'm like, as can be, good as can be. Yes. Why, what's up? He was like, nothing. And I'm like, what is it? He's like, I remember him saying, I can't stop thinking about the way you feel. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? He's like, your skin, like my hands on your skin and my lips on yours. And I'm like, well, you should stop thinking about that. Like, focus. we kind of, we in some right now. Okay. And he starts laughing and I'm like, no, it's a no. He's like, okay. He's like, I'm just saying. I'm like, I finished getting dressed and I open the bathroom door and there he is just sitting there with his like puppy dog eyes and just looking like, like looking so, manly, but also looking so, I don't know, this look in his eyes, like big eyes, like, and so we lock eyes for a second and we just start laughing. And I'm like, okay, what are we doing? What's going on? He goes and says to me, he's like, I got to figure out how to get out of here, but I want you to get home safe. So I'm just trying to map this whole thing out. I'm like, okay, cool. What do you need from me? Well, at this point, I'm realizing I'm giving ride or die, but really ride and leave. But, I feel like I've gotten to know him since being on this whole entire run situation. And I've seen him get angry, get scary, serious, but also he's been super protective of me this entire time. So there's this thing that shifts in me and it's like, I'm pissed off with him still, but I really actually do want him to just find his way and get out of this situation and I get home, right? I'm also thinking about Jay and what just happened to him. I'm just thinking about the whole entire situation, right? So boom. So we sitting down and then we get to talk and I'm like, so what's up with Jay? He's like looking like shaking his head like, yeah. He's like, Jay's done for. I'm like, what do you mean he's done for? He's like, he shot Kilo for someone else. I was like, what's up with Kilo? He was like, they didn't arrest Kilo. I'm like, they didn't arrest Kilo. He's like, yeah. He's like, Kilo's on the run. I said, Kilo's on the what? I'm like, how convenient, right? So I'm sitting there like, I guess a bunch of us is on a run. But I'm also sitting there thinking, am I thinking the obvious? So he gets quiet, and he starts getting in his head. And I'm looking at him, and he has this death stare that comes on his face. It gets like, first it's like thinking, then it gets a blank stare. And I'm just like, is everything okay? He ignores me, and I'm like, are you okay? He's like, and he's just thinking, right? So he says to me, he's like, I gotta make a phone call. I'm like, is everything okay? He's like, and he gets a little irritated with me for a second. He's like, I can't talk to you right now. He's like, I need to make a phone call. So I'm like, okay. All right. He's like, I'm gonna step outside for a second. I'm like, all right. He's on this phone call, right? And I tried to like put my ear on the door, but because I'm a little nosy, but I can't hear much. But I decided, like, let me just sit on the bed because I don't want to piss this man off. So I'm sitting on the bed, and it's like 5 minutes is passing. He comes now back into the room, and he looks at me, and I'm looking at him. He's like, I gotta leave. I was like, what? He's like, I gotta leave. I'm like, where are you gonna leave me? He was like, you're gonna go home. He's like, this is the last stop for you. I'm like, why? He's like, it's not safe for you anymore. I'm like, I was like, it was never safe. He was like, Chelsea, and he sits next to me. He looks at me. He's like, yo, I'm really sorry for what I put you through, but things are about to get very crazy now. You cannot continue. Like, I gotta get you home. So he gets super sweet, and it feels like now we're having like a departing conversation. So at this point, I'm like, oh, I'm fine about to go home. But I'm also a little concerned about him because there's like this shift. Like, it's like he found something out when he stepped out. And remember, he had this death stare. When he came in, he had like this disbelief stare. Like it was like whatever he found out was a game changer, right? So now I'm realizing, okay, whatever he found out or whatever he put together, when he came back into this room, right before he came into this room, whatever he found out confirmed something so serious that he now realizes he needs to get me far away from the situation. And I got like this feeling from him that it's like he's about to get like scary. Like, the little scary moments I've seen of this man ain't nothing compared to what may happen, because something about him just seems like he's like parting ways with me. Like, he's preparing to like give me this like, parting ways conversation, but it's also like I should not see the next version of him, right? Which I'm also just like, dangerous. So now he makes this little joke, like this little comment while we're sitting next to each other. He puts his hand on my right leg, like my right kneecap. And he puts his hand on my right kneecap, and he looks at me, and I'm like, what? He's like, not gonna lie. I'm like, what? He's like, you're the perfect Bonnie. And I'm like, I didn't sign up to be a Bonnie. And he just starts laughing. So we're giggling. I'm laughing. I'm like, whatever. And he looks at me. He was like, I wish things were different between us. And I was like, so it's probably 2 to 5 minutes of him looking at me, and I'm just looking at him like blushing. And all I hear is a boom, 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 boom on our motel door. So I hear this loud boom, 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 boom. And he goes, shh. And I'm like, what's happening? And he looks at me. He's like, any noise? And I'm like,